This kid TNT'd my sister's safe spaces, so I blew up his gaming life and sent him to touch grass. I was punching oak trees on our hardcore realm that first morning of lockdown, everyone hurrying to craft swords and cook raw meat before nightfall, and our little server felt like this perfect escape. That is until Zane joined through Discord while I was smelting my first iron, some friend of a friend who needed people to play with during quarantine. Zane seemed cool at first, sharing diamonds he'd found, helping with builds, cracking jokes that actually made us laugh, but there was something off about how he'd push boundaries with edgy humor and test limits just to see what he could get away with, and we all just let it slide because hey, the more the merrier when you're stuck in quarantine. By day 3, while we're building a basic mob farm, and I'm carefully placing water buckets to get the flow just right, Zane looks at my cobblestone structure and says, "Of course you'd build the most autistic-looking cobblestone box," with his casual laugh while placing fancy bricks he'd made from clay instead of helping gather food. I told him that wasn't cool to say, and he rolled his eyes and said, "Relax, bro, it's just a word," before going back to his decorative building like nothing happened. 2 days later, we're setting up an iron farm and placing villagers in their pods when Zane goes quiet for a minute, then starts laughing and sharing my old Instagram photos in the Discord while everyone can see them. LOL, look at this kid in middle school. What even is that haircut? I laughed along with everyone else, but something felt weird about how he'd hunted down my socials. Everything changed exactly 1 week into the world while I was building our villager trading hall, carefully placing lecterns to maximize efficiency. Zane had been weirdly quiet during the grind, and then out of nowhere, he starts describing my autistic sister's behaviors in voice chat, mocking how she stims, dropping the name of her special needs school, and saying, "No wonder you're weird, it runs in the family," while I'm literally mid-click placing a composter. I figured I must have mentioned her during our marathon sessions, but when I called him out, the Discord just went silent with a few Zane chill comments, and people telling me not to be so sensitive, like mocking my disabled sister was normal trash talk. By week 2, we're working on a guardian farm, and I'm deep underwater placing soul sand when Zane escalates to making these disgusting jokes about what he'd do if he met my sister, implying actual criminal things that made my stomach turn. When I told him to stop, he just said, "Learn to take a joke. This is why nobody likes you IRL," and kept placing blocks like threatening a child was normal conversation. Week 3, and I'm deep underground strip mining for our castle build, complaining in voice chat about doing all the resource gathering while Zane just decorates when he drops the final bomb. "You're such a buzzkill. Maybe you should go get your sister her red rattle she's obsessed with instead of ruining everyone's fun." My pickaxe stopped mid-swing because there was no way he could know about that rattle unless he'd been stalking my family's private accounts, digging through old videos my mom posted years ago. I lost it completely, screaming at him in voice chat while everyone else insisted it was just a joke, bro. But standing there in that mineshaft, I realized I owned this world, and every block he'd placed existed because I allowed it. So I rage deleted everything right there, watching 500 hours of builds vanish into digital nothing. The Discord exploded with everyone furious at Zane for pushing me to nuke everything they'd worked on, but he stayed quiet for 2 whole days until he posted something that made my blood freeze. A printed photo of my sister soaked in fresh white goo like he used her for target practice. That image flipped a switch in my brain from angry to calculating, and I started digging into Zane's life the same way he'd invaded mine, finding his mom's Facebook where she posted constantly about her job as a behavioral therapist for autistic children. The irony was so perfect, it felt like destiny had gift-wrapped my revenge and left it under the tree. I screenshotted everything methodically, the Discord messages, the doxing, every single comment about my sister, and especially that final horrific image he posted. His mom's profile was full of inspirational quotes about protecting vulnerable children and creating safe spaces for those with disabilities, which made sending her the evidence feel like justice rather than revenge. I composed the email carefully, making sure she understood exactly what her son had been doing to an actual autistic child while she spent her days advocating for kids just like my sister. As I expected, she went nuclear in ways only a mortified parent who works with special needs kids could manage, and his gaming setup got locked down harder than the actual pandemic lockdown. PlayStation 4 confiscated, PC parental controlled to educational sites only, Discord deleted, and a complete gaming ban for the remainder of quarantine. She made him write apology letters, donate his birthday money to autism charities, and volunteer at her therapy center doing janitorial work, while the kids he'd mocked played around him. He spent the next 8 months of quarantine completely offline during the loneliest period in modern history, all because the loser wanted to make some people laugh.